Action.
I think the circuit's kind of fried. I don't know, maybe you want to come...
The gamma's too high! Get out!
And how? And you go back to original framing. I would like to translate the excitement, the comic book, to the audience.
Action!
But I think in the comic book, nobody really cared about Bruce Banner. He's a loser, he's a wimp. I need somebody who has the Bruce Banner manner and the look, but in the same time, potentially he has to have that Hulk in him. I chose to work with Eric Bana because I found he has those qualities.
At the beginning, Aang, I can be lower, can't I? Just for the start?
I sort of need you to do both.
Okay.
Eric has that kind of power and that bottled up rage, you know, that was so essential to the Bruce Banner that we were creating for the movie.
You must come angry.
There's something really caught off guard in his expression, you know, very vulnerable and kind of stuck, kind of scared, kind of vulnerable and like a little boy.
There's something about his performance that just engages you. You want to watch him. You can't stop watching him. He's excellent.
You'd know I'd never hurt you.
I think you already have.
Through Jennifer and her performance as Betty, we come to care for Bruce Banner and we come to understand the Hulk. She's the one who cares for both of them. And we'd be watching dailies and we'd all be crying. That's the kind of truth and emotion that Jennifer Connelly is able to bring to the film and to the role of Betty.
She's brilliant and she is beautiful to look at, and she brings intelligence to the movie. She has most of the quality that we're looking for in Betty Ross.
She comes onto the set and you just always get to the heart of it.
It is quite a special experience working with her.
Yeah.
Aang is somebody who really works with people he respects and who gets the respect back from them. It was wonderful to see him working with people, let's say, like Nick Nolte, who was so engaged at the kind of philosophical level with what the script was about, that he and Aang would just have hours of discussion.
Or Abraham looking up at God, or Jesus Christ would start asking why. Okay.
He's totally crazy, and I had one of the best times in my career working with Nick. He is always passionate about whatever the texture provide him. Any line you give him, any set you give him, he embraces it, you feel it. He's just purely brilliant in the movie.
This was a very surreal experience for me because Nick and Sam are quite literally two of my all-time favourite actors. And there were times when I was doing some stuff with these guys where I would literally fly above myself and look down and feel very, very, very privileged.
If you ever come within 1,000 yards of my daughter again, I'll put you away for the rest of your natural life.
I'm in love with Sam Elliott. Sam has that kind of authority, but he has a twinkle in his eye. We did not want General Ross to be a cardboard cutout of a bad military guy. And you know with Sam Elliott playing General Ross that there is going to be something humane at the heart of a general.
Sam Elliott is, aside from being a guy who looks great in uniform, is really an actor's actor. I mean, he simply has achieved a level of craft and stature that's almost unparalleled. He kind of is the general. Josh Lucas is somebody who has made literally dozens of films in the independent sector and was waiting for his day to emerge as a leading man.
You turn green and all these guys come in and kill you and I perform the autopsy. You don't? And maybe I go too far and break your neck.
Josh understood the movie completely from the get-go. He understood that he was playing a character that was in a comic book and that he could be a little bit broad, and he was depending on Aang to tone him into the tone that Aang wanted. He loved being the bad guy.
His character Talbot is quite glossy and the bad guy, and he had a blast doing that. Eric and I were sort of more the straight men in the middle in this sort of strange comic book world, you know. But it was really nice coming onto the set.
He has done a number of the Tim Burton films, and the production design of this film is tremendous. And James Schamus, who's written a fabulous script.
My relationship with Aang now, we're on our 8th film. It's pretty much just an old married couple. He bothers me incessantly with appeals for very in-depth philosophical discussions as to why I'm doing this, why are we making this movie, what's at stake, until finally I can't take it anymore and I tell him to go away and actually write the screenplay.
And Fred Elms, who's a longtime collaborator of Aang's, is our director of photography. The look of the film is just luminous. It's an indie sensibility brought to an epic comic book canvas. Aang brought in an entire sensibility and a focus on what is it that drives Bruce Banner? What is it that brings the Hulk to life? It is a movie that has that kind of emotional depth. And, and let's face it, drama comes out of conflict, and there's conflict galore in this movie.
Action. I will kill the second beat, which is the top. That's when Hulk stand up. So you wait until I call and go. Boom. When I call and go. So you are and you're go. All right, is everyone clear? Let's spit it out, go to work. And we are rolling. Be careful, Mark. 3, 2, 1, go!
It's a big movie. There's a lot of destruction and a lot of physical effects on the set. You know, it was very difficult work.
Whatever the Hulk does, comes in contact with, manipulates, pushes, shoves, breaks, touches, lifts, falls under the category of the on-set physical effects crew, which is my team. In this movie, we destroyed the entire lab, which was giant.
Those are real walls that are coming down and real windows that are being broken, real lab equipment that's being destroyed, and there's nothing phony about it.
Ready, and door, go!
And I think that a lot of people who see this movie might think that that is a regular-sized guy in a miniature set plowing his way through it, because it looks that real.
All aircraft.
We moved on to San Francisco, where we took 12 cars and rolled them down Telegraph Hill with the Hulk cracking up the street, tipping a cable car with people falling out.
The entire street's supposed to erupt, and everybody's supposed to react to that. Yet there's no eruption actually taking place. So we had to really kind of have this fine integration with the CGI folks and the special effects department, especially because they were flipping cars and rolling or turning, tipping trolleys over, and people were falling off, and so we had to really work closely together for that, to make that scene work.
We moved on to the Sequoias, where we had the Hulk and animated dogs smashing the front of the car.
The dogfight primarily is computer generated, but prior to the fight actually beginning, the Hulk is talking to Jennifer Connelly's character, and he picks her up and he puts her on the roof of the car. And then he takes her off of the roof of the car when the dogs start to attack, and he sticks her in the car and slams the door. And that had to be a really fine integration between us and CG Hulk, so that when the Hulk carried her to the car, she bounced, she moved up and down so that it matched the Hulk's stride.
We then moved on to Victorville, where we blew up the 12,000 square foot housing complex with the military trying to attack. Moving into the Banner house, where we had more Hulk interactivity.
Bruce Banner gets really upset. Hulk's out, kicks the shit out of Talbot, and leaps away.
There's a scene where the Hulk kicks me through the wall of a house, and I'm in a couch. And, 9 cameras, amazing looking, huge explosion.
Which means, a couch has to lift itself, throw itself out the window. One of Charlie's guys has to be on the couch, on cue, fall off the couch and hang up on a rail as the couch ends up down into the street. The next sequence, or part of that sequence, the Hulk walks out, bashes through the front of the house, boards, nails, screws flying everywhere, with Charlie's guys still on the rail, not hurting him. So any of those situations like that, Charlie and I meticulously talk about how we're going to design an explosion that will later be appear as though the Hulk has created this by his force and walking through.
You have to really think about movement is important, how the actor moves in relationship to the way the Hulk is going to move when the animators get a hold of it.
3, 2, 1, go.
A lot of the movies me getting beaten up physically by the Hulk or by the fights that Eric and I have, or being thrown around or being smashed into things.
We had a great time on this stuff, and obviously have to place a lot of faith and trust in each other. And the good thing about the scenes with Josh was it was the only person that I really got to do some really heavy physical stuff with. So it was always a relief when he would come onto the set, even though he'd beat the crap out of me every time.
I think we've gone 10 steps beyond what the other movies have done right now in terms of integrating our character into real life. Our character gets involved right in the middle and walks through and touches things and lifts things and comes in contact with things way more than any character, I think, than you've seen before. My ultimate goal is to, in a finished movie, not have anybody know where we've handed off from animation to real life. It's been a really busy picture. It's been a really kind of satisfying one for me.